Hi, welcome to Gemstone Tarot. This is a random reading for if you are struggling with something in 2020, okay? It could be a toxic situation, it could be anything that you are struggling with. I am not entirely sure. It's just a feeling that I got to do the reading, if I can kind of put it that way. So if you are drawn to this, then this is for you. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's nice. Now, for those of you that are in a relationship situation, looking at these two cards so far, check out the random love reading that I just did a couple of days ago, where both of those cards came up next to each other, just like they have now. So yeah, this is, yes, okay. This is probably about healing a heartbreak or a relationship situation for most of you. I've got the victim card of revenge, somebody walking there on thin ice. I've got the healing card of forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono card is what I call it. And in the middle of those, I have got the higher mind card. This is a grace card. It's about raising yourself up from your story, okay? This is really important. Some of you are stuck in a story, and to be honest, 2019 did enough to kind of stick most of us into a story where we were considering, particularly during Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in the time of Halloween to the end of November, this, where we are come from, where the cracks have appeared. Some of us are feeling we are responsible for that, we're not enough, especially if there's been some kind of breakup situation or family kind of rift. The healing card of forgiveness, really, really important that when we see this card, the person, first of all, is hugging themselves in a mirror. They are forgiving themselves first. Now, for me, the greatest way that this component comes across is in the Ho'oponopono prayer. And there are loads of versions of this on YouTube. I like Agnes Viverelli, Agnes Viverelli. She does a really good 15-minute easy meditation for me. I find that easy to do. You know, put on the headphones, do it for 15 minutes. The idea, which is much more complicated than this, but generally with the Ho'oponopono prayer, is that you forgive yourself around a particular subject. So if you think about particularly this, what is hurting you? What is wounding you? Okay, whether it's a relationship, a family thing, or anything, it doesn't matter. You can use the Ho'opono prayer to forgive yourself, because there will be some element of self-blame trapped within you that maybe you are conscious of, and most likely, most of all, you aren't conscious of, okay? And in order to release it and go into 2020 in this kind of grace of your own higher self, the Ho'oponopono prayer, what I find it does for me is it bypasses my, you know, when you have that voice in your head that is generally negative for some reason, unless you have trained yourself to make it more positive. Generally, it's the voice of doom. Generally, it's the voice of an old school teacher or an old parent or whatever it is. You know, this will never happen. Who do you think you are? Oh, you're not good enough. Or even if it doesn't even have a voice, it's just a feeling of lack. It's a feeling of, I'm not good enough, whatever it is, okay? The Ho'opono prayer bypasses your thought police and gets to a sort of a vibrational level of something. I don't even know what it does, but it's good if you are a thinky person like I am, where you always got something going on in the brain, or you get earworms with songs, you know, or loops. So, moving from this victim mentality, which we all fall into, and that's not to say, and this is really important, it's not to say what has happened to you wasn't A, unfair, B, real, and C, extremely painful. But if you want to do that and go to the nice, sunny, higher place, okay, you've got to find a way of feeling better, of healing. Ho'opono prayer is my favorite way. Now, you may find other ways of doing it, okay? And of course, that's great. Find whichever healthy way you can. It would be brilliant. I just find that that one is my easiest way because it's simple. Okay. I think it says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And then you say it again and again in a loop. I find as well, if I'm having a dark day or a dark night of the soul, that sometimes I just let that go like a little bird, like a little thing. And if I'm going to have anything, anything going around in my head, it might as well be that. Do you know what I mean? That's the other thing. If you do have quite a thinky nature, the Ho'oponopono prayer can get in like an earworm, and you'd be the best one at practicing saying it. Right, let's have a look at some tarot cards. Interesting energies. Woohoo! Sorry. Cripes. Okay, yeah. Know that for some of you there is a certain stuckness about this and that it's a good thing. We've got the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups is a kind of emotional neutral card. Sometimes we go into Four of Cups energy when we are wounded and we need to feel distracted, and it's the kind of things we do to feel nothing. Because sometimes when we need to move into our higher state or release ourselves from something, some kind of suffering, sometimes quite cleverly, I think, we first of all move into emotional neutral, because actually that is progress, isn't it? If you are in this mentality and you're hurting, that can be anger, frustration, it can be feeling depressed, it can be whatever it is. Moving to somewhere where you're feeling, you know, at least at zero is progress. So I actually quite like this. So know that you can move. First of all, this is about taking really small steps. Know that you can move first into emotional neutral. It's a 4. It's steady. It's like the 4 legs of a table. You find your feet with it. You feel like you can rely on that. You're no longer in the kind of like this, where you're in that victim revenge mentality. You're in the sense of, you know, It's like smoothing the emotional tablecloth. Okay, all right, I like that energy. Then, and to go with that, I've got the Two of Swords, which is a very similar energy, where there is no particular available solution straight away. Sometimes, you know, when we can accept that, it releases us. So at the moment, as we move into 2020, if you feel a bit stuck, you are a bit stuck in something, as in at the moment with the Two of Swords, a particular path, solution, map is not available, but that in itself is a gift to you, okay? Then we get some very interesting energies. Four of Pentacles in reverse, the need for an emotional release, okay? So look, it will come, don't worry. Now I have a feeling as well that as we move into 2020, we've got this full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer on the 10th of January. It feels like lots of us will be releasing a lot, that's my releasing mime, around that time. So from sort of mid-January, from then to around mid-January. I mean, the eclipses last for about 6 months or whatever it is for you. But if you have been feeling like you need to kind of open your emotional taps, it will happen around that time, okay? And I like the feeling of that, and I feel like that will give you some momentum towards the healing. The Tower. I actually like the Tower in this reading. This needs to happen. It's like a clearance. It's like lightning hitting what is actually an edifice or a tower of denial, coping strategies, and ways that you keep yourself numb, okay? Now, for some of us, you're not going to want to do this on your own. You want to find a therapist, a healer, whatever is right for you, okay? Seek the right advice if you feel like you need guidance, okay? But it feels good to kind of, and that's what full moon eclipses do as well. They blow the lid off things that needed to be kind of aired and blowed. So you can move from emotional neutral, which in itself was a big step, to letting go of what needs to be let go of, okay? That could involve some crying, it can involve some pent-up feelings being released, but most of all it's to do with that sense of not blaming yourself, loving yourself, forgiving yourself. And that's not in the kind of greeting card way of I love myself first, I am so great, you know, kind of affirmations that bounce off you and don't even touch the sides. This is about affirmations that could be very, very small. I'm okay is an affirmation. That's the smoothing of the emotional tablecloth. I'm okay with today. I'm okay with this hour, with this minute, with this colour, with this apple. Start really small, okay? We are but human, and to live is quite a kind of daunting and difficult thing some days, more than others, okay? Now, in the middle of the reading, we've got the Empress, which is a gorgeous energy. This is gestation. It's the feeling of something building, of something, you know, the Empress is representing the mother, somebody where it takes 9 months to build something, 9 months to gestate something. Know that within this sadness or within this wounding, there is the seeds of something powerful. And that's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's shiny, and I'm not glittering anything. But it's a beautiful card. I love the yellow. I like the dawn breaking. I like the seeds being planted. It's 9 months. This could be between January and September. You know, this is a long cycle, but it is a new cycle. It's a healthy cycle. It's where things have been shifted. It's where the emotional lid has been lifted and things start to grow and shift and take hold. Now, what we have to give up for this is interesting. 5 of Swords in reverse, Venus in Aquarius, which we're in at the moment, I think, in reverse. And this is a stance. This is a standoff. This is a power, a sense of who's got what and who's got the most power and who's going to win the argument. And this can be with ourselves, by the way, or it can even be an old score that goes back years, that's even just a memory. Again, that healing card of forgiveness is letting go of who's to blame. And most of all, because underneath the question who's to blame is usually the answer me, which is never something that takes us to our higher state. It's just a place we seem to go to a lot. That I can't answer why we do it, I just know that we do. Okay, 2 of Pentacles in reverse. For some of us, this is about how we earn money, how we live, how we earn our pentacles, it's Jupiter in Capricorn, which I think actually, and I can't see where my diary is, but I think Jupiter is in Capricorn at the moment as well. This will be causing, as Jupiter does, the planet of expansion, be causing us to question how we spin our plates, how we organise our life, how we commute between love and money, how we balance what we want, how we balance our needs against someone else's, how we balance, literally for some of us, our side hustle and our job. For some of us, our side hustle may become our job in 2020. That's a card, but it will not be easy, okay? But nobody said it would be easy. It will get easier, but it might be like a 9-month project for this to even itself out. Sometimes I get this card when you have a job and you've got a blog or a YouTube channel or, you know, whatever you're doing on the side, and you're finding that you work all day and then you work at night and you're like, oh my God, you get to that point where it's almost spilling over into too much. But that is where the seeds of something great are born, okay? Or at least planted. Because when it gets too much, usually you're running into some kind of success. But there will need to be adjustments, okay? And usually adjustments come out of discomfort. I know, it's a strange one. Page of Swords in reverse. This is the card for me about, it can be a card of spying, particularly with social media. For me though, it's a message, don't compare yourself with others. It's a game we never win, okay? There's always someone more successful, better looking, whatever you want. I learned that when I went to university, and you know, I think I went to university in the most beautiful university, and everyone was just, looked like a goddess or a god. And actually, you know, spending 3 years on campus with incredibly attractive people really worked for me, because there was always someone 10 times better looking. You just got used to it. It was like, okay then, I just won't think about that anymore. So know that comparison is not your best friend if you are looking to heal yourself in 2020, okay? Or even between you and a sibling, you and a partner, whatever it is, you and an ex, if you can look within and stop yourself doing what we all do as a human, look without, which of course with social media it's so much easier to do, it will help you to move up to your higher self, okay? Let's have some Chuck Spezzano, love. Ooh, cards. Oh, this is lovely. Wow. Okay. For some of you, your suffering here is coming from some sense of heartbreak, okay? We have a lack of self-worth, and that again goes into I wasn't good enough, the feeling that something happened because you weren't good enough, okay? It's a very natural thing for us humans to feel. It makes sense to us. It's that voice in our head again. Ho'opono prayer, try it for healing that particular subject, okay? Even if it's forgiving yourself for not being good enough, what that does, it doesn't mean you weren't good enough. It just gets you into a place of emotional neutral where you come out of that pit, that funny feeling of not feeling good enough, of feeling like you failed, okay? For some of you, this was to do with deception in a relationship. Somebody was deceiving you in some way, okay? And again, it doesn't mean that you have to literally let that person back into your life, but it's making peace with the story and almost revising the story. It's a sense of forgiveness for yourself, because again, sometimes when people have been deceptive with us, it brings up wounds from childhood about we weren't good enough for someone to tell us the truth, okay? Practice forgiveness for that. Disillusionment, finding out who someone really was, okay? Yeah. That is painful, but sometimes necessary. And for some of us, where there's been a breakup, 2020 is a process of somebody falling off a pedestal, okay? Which in itself can elevate us into our higher place. Not in a tit for tat kind of a way. It kind of means there's more room on that pedestal for us, okay? Then we get two really quite crackingly lovely cards. We get the luck card of falling in love. So for those of you that have lost hope of ever finding someone, this is a beautiful card, okay? It's finding love when you least expect it. Although, to be honest, if you're doing the healing work and you release old energies about somebody and you're moving into your higher grace state, it's not that unusual that love would find you, but you don't feel like that at the time. So this is just a lovely reminder, okay, that in 2020 you can find love where you least expect it. And hey, we get orgasm as well. Nice. That's some nice icing and a bit of a cherry on the cake, isn't it? Okay, what else do we need to know? Oh, Brian and Wendy Frood. Do as well, I'll put them in the description box, check out your January readings for 2020, because they were quite optimistic and nice, actually, I have to say. They were nearly all happy readings, and they aren't every month, because I do deliver what I get, but they were. So do have a look at those for your individual star sign. What do we need to know? Nice. Brian and Wendy Frood, we talk about the hero, which is masculine and feminine in one. This is the card of literally, for some of you, fighting, okay? Deciding to fight. Now, fight doesn't mean resistance, and it doesn't mean working so hard, but it does mean bravery and courage of heart, okay? And sometimes forgiving yourself is really... I remember when I bought Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I think it was that. And you had to do this mirror work where you say, I love you to yourself in the mirror. And I remember thinking, oh, well, that's a doddle. Yeah, that's not much. I found it so difficult to do. I found it actually tiring physically to do it. I found it took some kind of emotional stamina that I had not been using for a long time. And I think when we're trying to change our mindset from a constant barrage of low-level negative thinking into even some positive thinking, it takes courage, and it takes a decision, and it takes willingness and perseverance, okay? And sometimes an emotional stamina. It's like trying to give yourself abs, you know? It's like this blancmange there for the first 6 weeks, but you keep doing the work and you will get some improvements, okay? So it's like going to an emotional gym. Sometimes as well, we can only do it for 2 minutes a day, you know, then 5 minutes a day. But it is forming new pathways. It's forming new positive habits, okay? And then we get the Fairy of Naughtiness. And this is accessing your inner tink, is what I call it. Your inner Tinkerbell, your inner sort of... your inner child. I hate saying that, literally hate saying it, but that's what it is. But it's your inner child that is naughty, wants to play, okay, with the universe, wants to be curious, wants to know about colour and I was going to say smaced, taste and smell and texture and sound, and that kind of, whatever your playful spirit is, gets released when you do that forgiveness work. This is an unusual reading. I've never done a reading like this before. Leave me a comment, let me know, okay? And do hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the reading. The Smith, where we hammer out a new future. This is promises and oaths, and it's a kind of a promise to be kind to ourselves, if nothing else. And there will be more, okay? More will come, but just stick with that oath, okay? That promise to yourself that in 2020 you will practice self-forgiveness, try new things, and at the very least just take a little baby step towards changing the voice in your head that says you're not good enough. Let's have Wisdom of the Oracle. No. Ooh. Wow. I don't really know what to do with those, but I think it's that one. And seems to be those two. Yeah, I like this. Okay, there it is. Building blocks. Little by little by little by little. But actually, it's like when you start saving money. I know. It's like when you start saving money. It's the same as when you're spending it. You know when you look in your account and you think, oh my God, who made all those transactions for coffee and God knows what else? And then, no, I didn't possibly do all that. And of course, it was always you. It's the same when you save, when you look in a savings account book and you think, who went in and put that money in? Things are incremental. Building blocks, baby steps, okay? The Thinker. Be willing, at least just willing, to see things from a different angle. to see things from not even the positive, if that's too much of a leap, but from the emotional neutral as a good start, okay? And then we have a change in the wind. This is a nice card. Blows the stripes off a zebra. Remember that falling in love card, or just the sense that things are going to change. It's the one thing, isn't it? Panta rei, everything changes, as the Greeks said. You never step into the same river twice. The sense that we are being carried along, that things change, and that the one thing you can rely on is that things change. Which is good, because this is a situation that has been stuck and is moving from very painful to emotional neutral to something new. Let's have a Healing with the Angels Oracle card. Interesting. Yeah, I like that actually. Nope. One more of these. No, actually, it's Belinda Eames. Belinda Eames clairvoyance cards as well. We're having it all. It's good. Nope. Oh, wow. God, I love that. Okay, Healing with the Angels, we get retreat. Retreat is when you do this, when you do the work on yourself. I quite like that. It's doing the inner work, isn't it? Serenity. Of course, there is the serenity prayer. Acceptance. I like that. It's a very peaceful looking card. And then this card for me is very intriguing indeed, because it's got kind of an eclipse energy for me, but also integrity. Personal integrity, where thought and feeling and action become aligned, okay? This starts with the baby steps of self-forgiveness. That's an unusual reading. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's helped you or if that's given you food for thought. And do check out your January readings. Subscribe to the channel, wherever that button is. And I'll see you soon for the dailies. Namaste.